Hello guys, welcome to Anita Crochets. My name is Anita and today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make a high-waisted bikini bottom. So first of all, I'm having a bad cough and a very heavy flu, and I'm trying to be loud, as loud as I can, so you guys can hear me besides my voice being so hoarse. So to start with, I'm going to be working with Robin 100% acrylic, and it's 50 grams in weight, all right, like you can see. So we are going to need scissors, and I am going to be working with a 3.5 millimeter hook. So let's get started. We are going to start off with a knot like this. We always do start off with a knot, okay? And with my 3.5 millimeter hook, I am going to get it into the loop. And first of all, I am going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? So I'm going to yarn over, and in the third chain stitch from the hook, I am going to work a double crochet like this, and I'm going to continue working one double crochet into every chain stitch until I get to the end of the first row. And I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. So I'm going to yarn over, and from the first stitch from the hook, I'm going to work a double crochet and continue working one double crochet into every stitch until I get to the end of the row. So this is more like your crotch, all right? So I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work again. And I'm going to work one double crochet into every stitch like I have been doing. Okay, now I have 3 rows. So I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work, as you can see. And into this very first stitch, I am going to work two double crochets. That's 1 in the same stitch, and that's 2. Okay, so this is now to make our increase, and I'm going to continue working one double crochet into every stitch until I get to the last stitch. So in the last stitch, I am going to work 2 double crochets like how I started with. Okay, so this is it. I hope you guys can hear me because I'm trying so much to be loud, and I hope this video turns out very good, as much as I'm complaining about my voice. So chain 2 and turn your work, and now start working. In the very first stitch, you're going to work 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, and the third into the very same stitch. So we have 3 in one stitch, and now I'm going to keep working one double crochet into every stitch. And in the very last stitch, I am going to do the same like how I started, that is 3 double crochets in the very same stitch. Okay, so now you see. So I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work, And now this time I am going to work 2 double crochets into the very first stitch. That's 1, 2, and I'm going to continue working 1 double crochet into every stitch until I get to the last one. So now this is my last stitch, okay? So I'm going to work 2 double crochets. Usually how you get started is how you end the row. So chain 2, turn your work. By now you know that this time I'm going to make 3 double crochets to start with. So in the very first stitch you're going to work 3 double crochets. And then continue working 1 double crochet into every stitch until you get to the very last stitch. Now when you get to your last stitch, that is right here, you're going to work 3 double crochets into the very same stitch, like how we started. Okay, so this is how it is. So for the next rows, the next number of rows, I'm going to share with you how many you have to make. You're going to keep working an increase of 2 double crochets to start with and end with, and 3 double crochets on the next row to start with and end with. I have already explained this in my tutorial for the dupatta swimsuit, and it was very clear how I make my bikini bottoms. So literally that's the same knowledge you're going to pass on here. So if you haven't watched it, you can check it out. It's very, very clear, and I believe it will be helpful to you all if this one does not turn out helpful to you. So I already made my bikini bottom, so I'm just going to count for you the number of rows I made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So right here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have about 7 rows to go. I am making for a size small. So if you're making for size medium, if these are 11, you can go up to 13. And if you're making for size large, you can go all the way up to 15 or 16, depending on what you're making, depending on how big you're making it, all right? So just make more 7 rows to go up, and I'm going to get back and show you how. Let me just actually get to show you how to work the back. So once you have your 11 or 13 or 15 rows ready, you will cut your yarn and you will secure this. But basically your last row of the front should be an increase of 2, not 3, all right? So we are going to just get the very same piece and turn it back. We get back to where we started from and into this very last stitch right here. I'm just going to put this over so it can be crocheted beneath. You're going to pull through yarn and chain 2 and start working a single crochet into this very first stitch and work a single crochet into the next and the next, 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 and the last one right here. Okay, so we have this. So you're going to chain 2 and turn your work and start working 1 double crochet into every stitch until you get to the end of the row. And that's right here. So when I'm making bikini bottoms, I usually advise you make more rows of the crochet, depending, because sometimes when you work a single crochet for the finishing, you find that it actually diminishes. The crochet that was longer, a little longer, will now become shorter. So it's better you make one that is a little longer, so it is able to get through the front and the back without pulling the back front and the front backwards. So on the next row you work your double crochet, as you can see. So if you see right here, I worked 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and right here I have 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, chain 2 and turn your work and work another row of double crochet, which makes it 6. Okay, and chain 2 and work another double crochet row to make it 7. So we have now 7 rows for the crochet area. And I'm very certain that these will be okay for someone making size large, someone making size small, and someone making size medium. So you will not add any more rows, whether you're making size large or medium or small. These are just fine. So you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. And right here you're going to work 3 double crochets in the very same stitch. And then work 1 double crochet into the next stitch and the next until you get to the very last stitch of this row, on this row. So in the last stitch you're going to work 3 double crochets just like we started, and once you have your 3, you're going to chain 2 and turn your work, and then work 3 double crochets into the very first stitch that's on the next row. And now you're going to keep working 1 double crochet into every stitch until you get to the end of the row, and that's in the very last stitch. In the very last stitch you're going to work 3 double crochets just like we started. How we start is how we end every row. So this is the very last stitch, and you're going to work 3 double crochets. So you can see it's already larger than our front. Okay, so you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. In the very first stitch you're going to work 2 half double crochets, and continue working one double crochet, 2 double crochets. So you're going to continue working 1 double crochet into every stitch. I am so familiar with half double crochet, so it hits my mind all the time. So work 1 double crochet into every stitch until you get to the end of the row. So that's 1 double crochet into every stitch. And once you get to the end of the row, right here you're going to work 2 double crochets, just like we did when we were starting the row. So you're going to chain 2 and turn your work, and in the very first stitch you're going to work 3 double crochets, just like we started when we were starting to make increments of the behind part. So this is the behind part literally. So you're going to keep working 1 double crochet into every stitch until you get to the end of the row. Right there. So guys that write to me and tell me I followed everything and didn't get exactly what you made, I rarely, okay, I do use my tape measure, but then rarely do I usually get back to it when I am making a new creation that I did not have general knowledge about. But for creations I have made over and over again, I know what to do for every size. So in the very last stitch you're going to work 3 double crochets. So sometimes if you're trying to make, because I don't know what type of crocheter you are, you could be a tight crocheter, and you know, you need to know yourself. So sometimes even if I say we don't need a tape measure, and you feel like sometimes when you make my creations they don't turn out exactly like mine, you will need to get back to your tape measure and always measure every step to get the result that you want. So turn your work. In the very first stitch you're going to work 3 double crochets. And here you're going to keep working 1 double crochet into every stitch until you get to the end right here, and right here you're going to work 3 double crochets. So for the next row you're going to work 2 double crochets to start with and 2 double crochets to end with. So literally the front is all about 3 double crochets to start and end, and 2 double crochets of the next row to start and end. So the behind is all about 3 double crochets to start and end for the first row, 3 double crochets to start and end for the second row, and 2 double crochets to start and end for the third row. So do that repeatedly for a total of, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. 15 for size small, 15 for size small, 17 for size medium, and 19 to 20 or even 21 as big as you want to go. So once you have that ready, like I said, the very last row should be 2 double crochets of increase to start and end for the front and back, like you see right here. My very last row is a 2 double crochet increase. Even for my back, my very last row is a 2 double crochet increase. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to do. Your very last row should be a 2 double crochet increase. So if I say 17 rows for size medium, make sure the last row is a 2 double crochet increase. If it is not, go to the next so that you meet the 2 double crochet increase. And once you're done with that, I am going to, now let's move to this piece because I already made mine. You can pause and just finish yours. So right here is where I am. And this is the back piece. So I already chained 2, and literally now I have to work 3 double crochets of increase, that is 3 double crochets in the very first stitch. So now I am going to work 1 double crochet into every stitch until I get right here. So when you're done with working your 1 double crochet into every stitch and you're on the last stitch of your pant, I am going to come back and show you how to work that so that we now join the front and back. In this very last stitch, I am going to work 3 double crochets in the same stitch. Okay, now this is why you're going to be prompted to get to your tape measure if you have to. If you don't, you can follow what I am doing. You're going to chain 15, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So when you're making these chains, please do not be very tight, because at the end of the day they need to be in position to stretch out, to go through someone's thighs and go all the way up. All right? So if you make them so tight, it's going to make it hard for the person to put on your bikini bottom, because it's not like passing through. And what I know, thread or yarn has the possibility of stretching if only you did not crochet too tight. All right, so we have 15 chains, and we are going to get to the front part right here, and into this very first stitch right here we are going to work 3 double crochets in the same stitch. That's 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3. Okay, now we are going to work 1 double crochet into every stitch, just like we have been doing, until we get to the end. And once you're at the end, I am going to get back and show you how to get to the other side as well. So right here, work 1 double crochet until you get to the last stitch right here, then I can show you what to do. So I am at the last stitch right here, so I'm going to work 3 double crochets in the very same stitch, and I'm going to chain 15 like I did on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm going to yarn over, sorry, don't yarn over, rather you're going to get this side, and you're going to slip stitch into these chains that we made to start the row on the other side of the back. So you're going to slip stitch, and now you're going to chain 1. As you can see, this is what I have. Okay, this is my bikini bottom. So now I am going to turn my work. It is always good to work in and out, in and out, in and out, unless you're working with a specific stitch. And now here I am going to work a double crochet into the very next chain stitch from the hook. Okay, and I'm going to keep working 1 double crochet into every stitch until I get back to the front where I started from. Sorry, to the back where I started from. So literally you have to have 15 double crochets on this bridge, and there is no much art in high-waisted bikini bottoms unless when you're working with a particular stitch, maybe like a shell stitch, like how you see my shell stitch swimsuit. Probably there would be some sort of like complex things to deal with, but then right here it is just normal double crochet as long as you get your measurements right. So just keep working 1 double crochet into every stitch, all right, until you get back to where you started from. So literally I have worked this row on the inside. So do that until you get back right here and slip stitch, and then I'll show you what to do next. So right here in the very last stitch, remember I started with 2 chains and worked a double crochet into the next stitch. So that means right here in the same stitch where the 2 chains started from is where I'm going to work a double crochet and then now slip stitch into the 2 chains. Okay, now chain 2 and turn your work, and turn your work, all right, work a double crochet into this very first stitch, right here, and continue working 1 double crochet into every stitch until you get to the end of the row right here. When you get right here, because we made our first chain stitch right here, you will just get back up right here all the way around and back up here and slip stitch, and then chain 2 and turn your work. So literally there is no huge amount of change you're going to make. As you can see now, my pant is a little bigger, so it can go for medium, or medium that is close to small, and small. If you're making for extra small, you can, where I made 15 chains, you can just make a more of like 10 chains of the bridge. If you're making for size large and you made the number of rows I told you to make right here, you can still make 15 chains right here. Or if you get back to your tape measure and you feel like you're not getting the result that you need to get right here, then you can go all the way to 20. But if you work the number of rows, remember you're increasing, the more number of rows, the more the increase. So literally I believe that will be fine. So right here you're just going to continue working 1 double crochet into every stitch, and to get the length of high waist that you want, you can go up to 10 or even 12 rows all the way up. But just remember to always chain 2, turn your work, chain 2, turn your work, chain 2, turn your work. So you work in and out. I don't want you to just work on the outside, because the resemblance of the stitches and rows right here will be different from the ones you started from right here all the way up, and we want something that looks alike. So you're just going to make sure you work in and out. So continue working your double crochet stitches into every stitch for every row, and make a total of 10 to 12 given the length of high waist that you want. If you feel like that's not the length of high waist that you want, you can go all the way to 15, whatever you want. All right, and when you get there, your last row should be of a single crochet. If you want, you can add a drawstring to your pant. You know, you can add a drawstring so it can like be adjusted to meet the size of the waist. Or if you have elastic strands, you can work them beneath your last single crochet row. Right now I just want to show you how to make your finishing. So right here, just to show you how to finish off your piece, you're just going to find a starting point, and when you do that, you're going to chain 2 and start working. Sorry, that should be on the inside. So you're going to start working single crochets into every stitch. Just do this, have it right here. So work 1 single crochet into every stitch, like you can see how I'm showing you. So once you're here, right here, and a stitch right here, going to make a decrease, some sort of like decrease like that, and start working 2 single crochets into every double crochet post like that. Like I usually tell you, I work 1 in the middle of the post and 1 at the beginning or the foundation of the post. But you can just work 2 like just 2 in the very same point, because we are going to work another row of single crochet. So if you don't want to get lost within, you can just do exactly that. So work 1 single crochet all the way around, 2 single crochets in every double crochet post all the way around. See? This is how it has to look like. So just do that until you get to this point right here that you worked when you're starting. So I got to this point and slip stitched. So I'm going to chain 2 and work my last row of single crochet. Alright, like that, and continue working 1 single crochet into every stitch. So if you're working with chunky yarn, I do not advise you go for 2 rows of single crochet. If you're working with chunky yarn, do not go for 2 rows of single crochet. Instead, you will just have to work 1 row, okay? So you see how mine is turning out. And now when you get here, remember we made a decrease. You are going to insert your hook, pull through yarn, and insert your hook into the next stitch and pull through all. Okay, so for every corner that you see, because we want to keep it a corner and not just like enlarge it, so that's what you will do for every corner. That's here and at the other side, so they're literally like 2 corners. So just continue working 1 single crochet into every stitch. I just want to finish this all the way down, so I share with you how it looks like. And once you have this done. Oops, my part just went off. So once you have this done, you are going to do the same for the other side of the leg. And once you have that, that's how it has to look like. So you see how neat it looks. So just do that and do that for this other leg, and you will have your bikini bottom, high waist bikini bottom ready. So literally, if you want to see how it looks like, you can just look at the picture on the thumbnail and get to know how it has to look like perfectly at the end. So that's how you have to make your bikini bottom, your high waist bikini bottom. I hope this video has been helpful. My voice has been hoarse, so I'm hoping I have been loud enough for you guys to get to hear me as well, or all of you guys to get to hear me perfectly. So continue subscribing, watching my videos, follow my YouTube, my Instagram, my Facebook, Anita Crochets, and Snapchat, Twitter, all the same. Let me see you in my next tutorial. Goodbye.